Morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Just
Yeah,
waiting for. I think it's supposed to go down to about minus 14 here on the weekend,
I
overnight.
know.
So,
I'm gonna come visit you guys this weekend. We're gonna be out Canmore Way at least for Saturday, Friday, Saturday. But
oh yeah, cool. I'm actually going to Edmonton this weekend for
oh
my niece's second birthday, but I'll be back probably on Monday to hit the hit the closing day at Sunshine. So
yeah.
last day of skiing
Well, they're gonna
coming up
reopen end
here.
of June into July.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much snow up there.
Yeah,
I think they hit a record. Otherwise, if they haven't, they're like, you know,
it sounded
half a
amazing.
snowfall away from
Yeah.
record snowpack. So
Well, maybe
yeah,
this
they can
weekend they'll
definitely.
get it.
Yeah, maybe they will. I think they will. It
Yeah.
is actually supposed to snow.
Yes. For all the non-Canadians right now, we are at the end of May and it is gonna snow, and we're talking about skiing into July. So yeah.
The last snow in my backyard, because I'm on the shady side of
Mhm.
Canmore, actually melted maybe like 5 days ago. So like there's still snow when I left for
Yeah.
Evolve. Yeah.
Wild. Cool. Well, we haven't caught up too much in a while, so uh,
We haven't.
pretty open topic. We were both in Houston last week for our Evolve conference, and I saw you there, but we didn't talk as much as we normally would. So, super curious
No,
what you ran into, what you saw, what you heard.
I mean, to be honest, I wish I could have seen more.
Hmm.
I was talking with a lot of our clients, so I didn't get to attend a whole lot of sessions. And at the same time, I was recording my Innovation Underground podcast in the studio that we had there.
Hmm.
So got a few shorter episodes stacked up, which was great to see. But it was really good to see. I think just the turnout and I think the general excitement for energy. And I think that's always
Hmm.
what I love about Evolve is it brings people together from various aspects of the energy world. Like, most conferences that you go to, most events that you go to aren't necessarily energy agnostic. It's like,
Hmm.
you're going to an oil and gas conference, you're going to a power and renewables conference, or, strictly geothermal, strictly gas, strictly offshore, whatever. Right. What I love about Evolve is it brings everybody together from all of those spheres, and it's really about energy in general.
Hmm.
And that's some of the comments that I got that I heard. Right, I brought some folks in to talk on a panel about geothermal siting and connecting that to data centers. So, off takers and suppliers and the conversation between them. Geothermal guys have a bit more, I think, of an understanding and background in the oil and gas space, and so I don't think they had that commentary about, oh, it's cool to see some oil and gas talks. But from the data center side,
Hmm.
um, Michael Pariser had some comments about, it's cool to see the macro and the oil and gas side of things. It's not something that he generally gets to see. So
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. I think it's
I
great
agree. It's
attendance,
such a
energy.
weird and interesting mashup, and I think at except inception, it was harder to describe what it could be, and it's really blossomed and grown into it because you have this really strong tech forward view of the whole world. Last year or two has been understandably focused on AI, things that we're doing there. So you could be, you'd be forgiven if you spent the first half day thinking this is an AI conference for energy, because it really was on the main stage, and there's entire
Yeah,
tracks around that. There's, subsections around much more sort of the tactical supply chain and source to pay type activities, incredibly rich vein, but like completely different procurement pathway. And then, as you mentioned, everything from geothermal to oil and gas to LNG to global, like macro, down to like very specific data center or renewable siting type of workflows. So I think if you put that on paper, you would say, but this is kind of a weird mashup. But when you're sitting there, it's a very interesting and compelling microcosm of what's happening in energy today.
yeah.
So I
I mean,
enjoyed
it
it
does all
too.
tie together.
It does. I think it takes
Yeah,
a little bit of work to get it to the point where it ties together, but I'm pretty proud of how we've found a way to tie it together in a way that is really compelling.
yeah. I think the other component of it is there's just amazing content. Like, um, I think some of the attendees feel like it's going to be an Invera's. We're here to sell you stuff. We're gonna
Mhm.
show you products, which we do, and I think we did a really good job of, and actually got some good feedback on that. That we're not just showing, hey, look at this, buy this thing. It's more like, look at this really cool way to solve this problem.
Hmm.
Um, but commentary around the content being such of such high quality, like everybody seemed to have learned something new,
Right.
um, which I thought was really great. And shout out to our marketing team.
Yeah.
A lot of really good feedback about the quality of essentially the setup, and I think it looked like a really cool place to be. So,
Yeah, it was good.
and it
It was
was,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think coming out of it, understandably, everybody leaves with a their eyes opened up. The width of that, the aperture of what was presented meant that you were for sure going to encounter things that you had not thought about and not seen. What stood out to me in a number of conversations, both on the conference floor, and we had a pretty large exec dinner on the first night as well, is just where people are at with the AI side. And I thought the presentations, like, it was very clear like where the direction of travel is going. I think a lot of us that are close to the tech side of the world see how fast it's all progressing. But this overwhelming sense of whoever you are, no matter what you're doing, and there's incredibly novel things going on, everyone feels behind. Everyone feels like they need to be doing more. Like there's this anxiety and urgency and excitement for what's possible.
Yeah.
Not sure how well that resonated with what you heard and saw from others as well.
No, I would agree. Yeah, I think that's what we also talk about quite
Yeah.
often as well in our own experience with AI and just the trajectory that things are taking.
I feel pretty lucky though. I mean, I've got probably every tool. You've got nearly every tool as well. Stuff we're doing at
Yes.
home. And so many
Yeah.
people I was talking to, especially over dinner, was they have Copilot and they have Copilot in a pretty bounded environment. And they're already
Mhm.
experienced pretty significant impact to what they can do and profound questions. But if you take that and think about our experience over the last 12 months or more, where probably have every tool and the boundary conditions of what we're able to do with it as a team is far less limited than most.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see how big that gap has become.
I It's not only true of Evolve, but I was at Geo Convention this week as well, and everybody's coming up to me, what's going on? What's going on in your world? And the thing that's it's always front of mind is like, I'm using AI every day. You should be too. And just talking about vibe coding, and some people are at the stage of, well, what's vibe coding? What's that?
Yeah.
And that, I think, there highlights the gap of where we're at in terms of having all the tools, and have been vibe coding for literally a year, pretty
Mhm.
much. Um, and yeah, I'm just really lucky in terms of what we're able to play with
Mhm.
and how it does impact our work. Because I'm finding, like, through time, there's fewer and fewer limits,
Mhm.
and workflows that I have historically been unable to do. I am completely able to do now, and it's not necessarily because these things have gotten better. It's because I understand how the LLM works and what to feed it to make it work.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's a product of being able to use the best tools to do those workflows, been given enough time to use those to figure out what those limitations are and how to get around them.
Yeah. Do you find, and I've seen notes of this a fair bit, just a degree of AI burnout? There's this sense you can always do more. I struggle a little bit because I spend too much time on phone calls and meetings and the like. So the amount of time to actually get those reps in gets impinged upon. And then the other thing that I've my brain keeps doing is, hey, I want to do like five things at once. And so
Mhm.
you've got a bunch of windows going or a bunch of projects working independently. And there's this constant high intensity context switching when I am plugged into it, where if you're trying to do like six parallel paths, it's just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm just literally cycling through it because it takes some time to process through whatever I'm asking it to do. I find that quite cognitively demanding as well. Just curious what your experience has been.
No, I think there is. I mean, the sentiment I get is there is absolutely some AI burnout. and definitely if you talk about AI reducing the amount of work or the amount of things that I'm doing, it's actually increased that, I think, but it's increased the quality of, it's increased those processes to be entirely, thought driven rather than task driven. I mean, the task
Mhm.
is navigating those different windows. Um, but personally, I haven't felt the burnout.
Mhm.
I've just been incredibly like energized by it all,
Yeah.
to be honest. And maybe it will lead to burnout because, yeah, I've definitely got like 8 different, you know, PowerShells open simultaneously, all pretty much running something at the same time. And, I've got a little noise that my computer gives me when a task is done. And I'm like, oh, something's done. But it's more like, sweet, something's done now. Let me
Yeah.
go restart it so it can keep working. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll get to that point because it is. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say it is like it's a lot going on, but I think it's just made my brain more active, and it's like
Yeah.
allowed me to. I don't know how to describe it, but I do not experience that burnout at all. Um,
I feel the load in two ways. One is super active, and so I end up wanting to do more and more at the edges of my day as well, where that's
yes,
less
that too.
interrupted. And then I find the cost of not having concentrated durations of time to go through the iterations higher. For example, if you have 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour to do something, and then I get interrupted with a couple hours of scheduled, other interactions, coming back and picking at it, I find much more exhausting than really being like fully immersed in it for 3 or 4 hours. Like it just that part I find both exhilarating but also like frustrating because I actually want to just keep going because you can make so much tangible process or progress in a given piece of time. Like I think the load is more the desire to do more and keep going versus having to stop, start, stop, start, stop, start.
Okay, that I can agree with for sure, and that I can get. I feel for sure because I feel like if I'm not doing something like at every point of the day, I'm like wasting my time.
Hmm.
It's like, why not just have the computer open while I'm making dinner to, prompt and then cook, then, hear the ping and prompt and keep going, right? And maybe
My
that
wife doesn't love it when I do that, so I'm trying to do less of that.
my wife hates it. Um, yeah, so maybe it's not healthy, and maybe that's burnout in a different sense of the traditional, I'd say, classification. It is a type
Yeah,
of burnout for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and maybe it's so addicting in that sense, and
yeah.
um, maybe yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Like, do we get to a point where it's just like this is a period of it's super exciting what we can do. We're finding new things to do. We've got all these ideas that we want to do, and at some point, do we accomplish most of those things, or get to a point where we have hit the limits and it's not as exciting anymore, um, and we do sort of lose this period now where we're using it, like I'm using it from 7 a.m. to like midnight, um, pretty much continuously,
Yeah.
right? Does that fade, right?
Or get normalized.
Yes, or get normalized.
Right,
Hopefully
there's
not
your 40-year
normalized.
career. Like from 7 till midnight, 8 terminals open for you, and just rip it.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I hope not, right? Um, I mean, we'll see where things. AI is just going to get so much better at that. I
Yeah,
think there's going to be less and less human in the loop. Like, I need to, what I need to do? I need to connect my cell phone to my Claude so I can just be doing it on my cell phone. Maybe
yeah,
that would be worse, actually. Um,
yeah. Well, we'll see.
but yeah,
Maybe that's a good place to leave it. Just leaving, thinking about
yeah,
what's
it's
next.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know you got to hop. One last comment. I think it's just interesting though the magnitude in which different people are using it. My sister works for Robinhood,
Hmm.
the trading uh, platform, and her team uses AI, and just the context, or sorry, the token usage that they're at is just like astronomical compared to anything that I could. I don't even know how it's possible. We're
Yeah.
talking 5.9 billion tokens a day per, like, for a top tier software engineer, where I'm using maybe 50 million a month,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just the order of magnitude is insane.
Yeah. There's
So
a lot of,
if we think we're at the cutting edge of these tools, we're probably mid tier.
yeah. Well, I
If
don't even
that.
feel like that. Like, I
Yeah.
honestly, whether it's that metric or, Jensen's views of, half of your cash comp in token spend, whatever those metrics
Mm,
are, I've been thinking about that a lot too. And it's like, let's just say like that is the target, waste or not. I don't know how to consume that much. Right.
yeah.
But maybe that's the skill that needs to be developed. And then once you figure out how to consume at scale, you can hopefully figure out how to create value at scale. And then once you figure out how you can create value at scale, there's the next leg of how do you capture value at scale. But to me, that's the journey of like, you have to figure out how to consume, then create value, then capture value.
And then improve efficiency.
Yeah. Well, and every one of those steps, once you figure out how to do that, like if the efficiency metric is how do you consume more tokens per minute, like that's one
Well,
question. And
yeah.
then value per token is another layer of the whole thing. And then, you know, value capture.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have to jump, but
Yeah. Oh, great
always
talking to
always good
you.
to catch, man.
Yeah. And everybody watching, thanks for watching. Catch you next
Cheers.
time.
See ya.